And now we present to you America's quintessential iconoclastic anomaly. Wow. In talk radio, your host, Joe Cristiano.
What we have here is a failure to communicate. I know that you have heard that statement before. You are hearing it again with a tremendous amount of regret. Our minds are congested with biases, false beliefs that interfere with our moral consciousness and compass. Sounds heavy duty, doesn't it? You're damn right it's heavy duty. I tell you, I have never been so disappointed in the fellow human being as I have been this week. We discussed immigration, open borders. I try to make it as simple as possible. I did not have one person disagree with me. Now, I just lied to you because they all said they agreed with me. And the way they agreed was this. Oh, yeah, Joe, I agree with you, but. There is no but, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to principle. Thou shalt not murder. You don't say, well, I murdered, I was in a bad mood. You don't murder people. It's a principle. It's a basic human principle. No one wrote it anywhere. It's understood. You don't go around murdering people. You don't go around taking things that are not yours. You don't become our government. You don't say, well, I took it because I felt that I needed it more than the other. There's no yes, but on principle. Either you abide by the principle or you don't. And the problem we have today is that we have become zombies. Our minds have been totally disintegrated with swill. And we can say things, I agree with you, but when you're talking about principle and not think a thing about it because we can't think. If I disagreed with you, I would say, I disagree with you. Because I wouldn't say, I agree with you, but. And I said, well, you disagree. They say, no, I agree. You're absolutely right. But. And let me give you a couple of the buts. Oh, but Europe doesn't do that. I can't go. What does that have to do with the argument? What does that have to do with the principle? From what I recall from my scant history lesson that I had in school, I believe that the Europeans came here to get away from those restrictions, to get away from the restrictions that were enacted by monarchs, which stripped people of their natural rights. That's why they came here. And then is, oh, I agree with you, but it's too idealistic. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Oh, how about this one? Oh, I agree with you, Joe. Jesus, I agree. I'm with you 100%. But, it's impractical. That person I wanted to strangle. I would have been in jail. Good thing it was over the phone and I was not face-to-face with that person. I would have gone over the table with that one. I got so many butts this week, my butt hurt. Folks, will you please, could some, look, 855-866-1170. 855-866-1170. Would someone please call and tell me what's wrong with open immigration? Why you are against natural law? The freedom, the absolute natural right to move wherever you want to go, provided you're not stealing or taking away from or disintegrating the rights of others. I'm going to go in Dick and Jane. Can I go in Dick and Jane mode, please?
Sure. Okay, let's go to Dick and Jane.
Yeah, they say that, but everyone's rolling their eyes over here. I can see that,
Yeah.
I think they have eye-rolling problems, Jeez, I get no respect at all. You know what I mean? I get no respect at all, But let me do this. This is Dick. Forget about basic ABC. We can't handle that. We don't have the brains anymore for that. So we're going to go to the Dick and Jane mode. Here it is. Columbus and the like of Columbus came here to America. Oh, the New World. Now, they came here. When you think about it, what did they do? They got into boats and they risked their lives. Now, why would anyone get in a rinky-dink boat and cross a waterway that there's a good chance that it ends and it falls off the end of the earth? There's a good chance you're going to die. And even if you don't fall off the end of the earth, most likely you're going to get in a storm, you're going to die anyway. Why would anyone do that?
Money.
The probability, will you shut up? I have clowns here today. Don't listen to a word they say. But the probability, and they knew, every one of them that were on the plane, and not only Columbus, but those that followed, knew that the probability of them landing on the other side, seeing land on the other side, was extremely small. Now, we applaud these people, say, oh, they were brave, they risked their lives, because what they did is they escaped the tyranny of Europe. And we write that stupid stuff in our history books. Of course, we make up nice stories about it. We lie about everything we write. Well, we don't tell the truth, but basically that's what happened. Now, let's assume we're on this boat, comes across, it's sailing, it actually makes it, and many of them did not, by the way, folks. Most did not. They got lost in storms and whatever. But they landed, and when they landed, the Indians were there. Not the Indians, the natives. Native Americans. And the Native Americans said, excuse me, I don't think this is your place. This is ours. We are going to respectfully ask you to leave. What do you think they would have done? Saying, oh, yeah, I'm awfully sorry. Hated just to interrupt you. We'll just turn these boats around and we'll go back to Europe. Now, you've got to be thinking to yourself, I don't think that's what would happen. What would happen is that we would take out our guns or whatever, and we would fight our way onto the land. And then we would take the land. But guess what? That's what we did. You see, we applaud the bravery, the risk-taking of those people who came from Europe to come here. And why did they come here? Because they wanted to get away from the restrictions of monarchy, which we have now. Folks, we don't have a democracy, we have a monarchy. Don't forget that. We're on the road to monarchy and to dictatorship. But they left because they wanted to be free. And we have holidays. We have Columbus Day. We have the 4th of July. All these holidays that we have, celebrating our freedom. Now, we would not have been turned around. We would have landed regardless. Even if we had a fight and we would have died in the battle. And there's no problem with that. By the way, for your information, they didn't invite us. They, meaning the natives, the people who occupied this land, did not invite us. We were the invaders. And then when we came here, we subjugated the people, took their land, raped the woman, put the children into bondage and slavery, and broke every promise and treaty we made with the tribes. Oh boy, I'm proud to be an American. Now, that's our history. But I'm not making this up. That's true history. Now, we applaud that, though. It's okay. And then I get the reasons, well, you see, it was different because they didn't have a structure where they didn't allow immigrants. Oh, wait, cut it out. Just shut up. People get so stupid. Well, they didn't have, and the tribes, they didn't care. All the stupid stuff comes out of the brains. It's like green slime that comes out of the brain. now that's Dick and Jane, okay? Now let's Dick and Jane what we have today. We have people crossing the desert, sometimes with their family and their children, starving, hungry with thirst, knowing there's a good chance they will not make it. And those people that are purportedly helping them may even kill them before they get there. And if they make it over this imaginary stupid line that some politician made up, we're going to put the line of the United States here and this, and they negotiate this imaginary stupid political line. Once they cross that line, they're illegal. Let's build a fence. Let's imprison these people. Let's throw them back. Now, if we applaud the settlers from Europe, why don't we applaud to the same extent those that show the same amount of courage from Mexico? I want you to really think about it. Don't hurt your brain. You see, folks, the principle is the same. If you truly believe in freedom, freedom means you have freedom of movement. You may go wherever you want to go. You may have to ask permission for someone because they own the property, but you may go wherever you wish to go. Oh, boy, we have a couple of callers. Let me get a couple of calls on. Boy, we got, let's see, who's going to take first? Geez, we're 6 minutes already. Joe? Okay. Let's see. Who do I have? Gigi. Is that you?
Hello, Joe.
Okay. Hi, Gigi. What's on your mind?
Well, I go along with amnesty as long as they do it legally.
But wait a minute. I'm not talking about amnesty. I'm not talking about anything. I'm talking about the principle of freedom of movement for free people. It's natural law to be free to move where you want. I don't need a passport when I go to Kansas or I go to Texas. And yet there's sovereign states. How does that happen? How come I'm not arrested? How come cops don't come around? Search me, search my car, want to see my papers?
But look at all the drugs and things they're bringing over here.
Wait, look, I don't want to get into drugs. You just changed the subject. Now you're talking about the drug war. You're talking about the drug war. Now, the only reason why we're the drug war is because we want the drugs. What they are doing is they're supplying our needs. What's wrong with that?
I don't need them.
Well, you don't take them. I don't take. I'm just saying we want drugs. We want drugs so badly we're willing to pay a fortune for them. They bring them over. Hey, free enterprise at work. I'm for it all, 100%.
But that's not most of the.
But that's not an immigration issue. If you feel the drugs are wrong, then you have a problem with the drug issue. All right, you have a problem with the government and how it's dealing the drug issue, not immigration. We've just changed the subject.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. But I want you to understand this is the problem I had all week. They say, "Oh, what about drugs?" I say, "What about drugs? You have some? I need it right now. Right now I'll take anything. Even if it's not pure, I don't care." You see, my point is that we're saying, yes, I agree. However, look at the drug problem.
Yeah.
All right? I want you to think clearly, Gigi, okay? Think very, very, very clearly. Either the principle of freedom of movement is valid or it is not.
Well, we can't move freely from country to country, though.
I know. That's why we left those countries, because they were not free. That's my point. We left the countries that didn't allow us to migrate in and out of the places, go wherever we wanted to go. We needed permission from the monarch, so we left. We got on ships. We risked our lives and the lives of our family to come here so we could migrate. When we got here, did we get permission from the Cherokee to move into their territory?
No.
Thank you. That's about it. Okay, Gigi, I got to move on. Thank you very much for calling.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
You promised me a T-shirt last time, and I never did receive it.
Did you send me an email with your address?
No, I gave.
I'm not online.
I gave Aaron the address.
Oh, okay. All right.
Aaron.
All right. The address went somewhere. Okay.
Oh,
Do we have Gigi's address?
We're getting it. We'll put her on hold.
Okay, all right. I'm going to put you on hold. When you get your address, you will get the T-shirt next week, guaranteed. We're out of certain sizes. If I'm out of your size, just wait another week. Okay, Gigi? Thank you for calling.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye now, sweetheart. Okay, Scott, what's on your mind?
Hey, Joe, to use the analogy that you had between Christopher Columbus and the Native Americans, in modern time, it's a reversal where we would be the Native Americans and the people, say, coming from Mexico would be Columbus.
That's right.
Now, the problem is that we live in a society that is dependent on the government. Even though we say we love freedom, we're dependent on it. Look how many people they expect to have minimum wage. They expect to have insurance. They expect to have all these things with their jobs. And then here come these people who just want to make some money to take care of their family. Well, we can't have that because that means we have to work harder because they're going to work harder than us.
Yeah, they embarrass the heck out of us. They're saying this is what. Thank you very much, Scott. I love it. I'm going to send you an oversized T-shirt.
You give him the biggest one. He deserves it.
If you don't have 10 T-shirts, do you have 10 T-shirts yet, or what? Do you have any T-shirts of Liberty Talk Radio, Scott?
Actually, yeah, I do have one. I wrote you an email a couple months ago when I first started listening.
All right. But you're absolutely correct. We feel guilty because we see the Mexicans doing what made this country so great. And when they come in here, they don't go on welfare any more higher proportion than the Native American. I mean, the existing Americans. In fact, their proportions are much lower because they really come here to work. They don't risk their life so they can get a welfare check. That's crappy living here.
And that's exactly right. And then everyone argues on principle, as you put earlier. They say that's a great principle, but the but about it is everyone loves to believe that they're morally, a good person, that given the chance they would do what is morally correct, which means bringing these people into America so they can make a living and protect their family.
Right.
But when it comes down to it, their lifestyle is being threatened, and they don't like that. And so then we have to start making excuses, whether it be amnesty or drugs or whatever the case. We have to find some kind of excuse.
And it's really it's a false fear. I mean, it really doesn't exist because their jobs are really not in jeopardy at all. Unless you pick lettuce or something like that, and then but you won't because
Just
we
pick a little
need
more
those
lettuce
people.
and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, Scott. Scott, are we up to a break right now? Okay, Scott, thanks for calling. Thanks for listening to Liberty Talk Radio, 1170 KFAQ. Right, bye-bye. Okay. The American spirit has morphed into the American ghost. We do not have an American spirit anymore, and if we do, it's because we get angry when our welfare check doesn't show up or something else like that happens. We do not have an American spirit. I think those coming across the border the way they do make us feel guilty, and we do not want to be reminded that we no longer possess the spirit that made this country so great. We have become xenophobic. We are a xenophobic nation. Now, everyone is xenophobic in a certain respect. What is that?
Yeah,
what is
you might want to
xenophobic?
explain
Yes.
that. Yeah.
That's a fear of something different. A fear of in immigration, fear of foreigners. Yeah, and we exemplify this xenophobic thought. And for example, when the Irish came here, oh, it was terrible. Then when the Italians came here, the Irish said, oh, it's going to be terrible. Everyone is xenophobic when it comes to the next one. And we're doing the same thing about the Mexicans. Oh, they go on welfare. They don't go on welfare. They want to work. You mean you're going to cross the desert so you go on welfare and live in some state-subsidized housing, in a slum neighborhood where most likely you're going to get mugged when you go to the store? Don't think so. You can do that in Mexico and live better. Come on, guys, wake up. Jeez. A xenophobic state. We live in fear. Now, if we want to live in fear, let's live in fear of our government. Because if we are against open borders, what we are doing is we are emboldening the tyrannical state, the centralized state, the totalitarian state. We are emboldening that. We're saying, please give us more troops, give us more.
Build a wall.
Build a wall. Surveillance equipment, drones, anything, but keep them out. Help!
Well, how about if we build 2 walls, with a space in between, a couple miles, and run the drones. I mean,
but we have that now. We have two. We have double walls, and then
Well, we need triple then.
Yeah.
I mean, where does this stop?
Listen, I want to go in the opposite direction. All right, I've decided. You guys have worn me down. I think we should build a wall. No, I'm on the wall. No, I'm going to build a wall. We should.
Are?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna campaign that we build a wall. But if we're going to do it, let's not do it half-assed.
Let's do it the
real.
American
Let's
way.
do it the
Right,
real.
yeah.
Let's do it all the way, right?
You bet.
We have to build a wall. We have to build a wall. That means we have to build a wall all over the United States. That means we need 22,000 miles of wall.
Oh, actually, in the ocean with maybe gates to let the
Absolutely.
ships in. With,
Yeah, I want 22,000 miles of wall because, if they can't get in one place, they'll find another place to get. So we need walls throughout. Just think of the logic, folks, please.
it would put a lot of
around
people
the
to
United
work.
States.
Yeah,
They can
That's
become
right.
wall
Of course
builders.
we could.
Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody,
A wall
and your
builder.
grandmother would be digging ditches for the stupid wall, right? Then every penny we have would be going to support the troops and the they don't call them troops. What do they call them? What do they call the
Mercenaries.
border patrol?
Yeah, border
the
patrol.
border
Yeah,
patrol.
yeah.
Border patrol. Because we will need hundreds of thousands of those. This will cost trillions of dollars. Take at least 20 years to build. We will produce nothing but building that wall.
And there
We
could
got
be a wall builders
22,000
union.
miles of
Wall Builders
coastline
Union,
and
I
of
like the
waters.
idea.
Yeah,
there.
wall
that's-
builders
that's a
union,
great
and we keep
idea.
everybody
Yeah.
employed.
Everyone be employed. We have a great economy.
Wouldn't that be great? Have
Yeah,
a
that's
wall
wonderful.
around
A
the
new movement
Absolutely,
going
yeah.
on here.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, why are you if you want the wall, why are you such a weenie and you want another 200 feet or another 1,000 feet or another 2 miles?
playing
No,
games.
let's do it all. If you think that's ridiculous, think back at the wall we have now. And I want you to go online and look at pictures of that wall. And if it doesn't get you absolutely disgusted and sick to your stomach, I'll tell you, there's something wrong with you. There's nothing I can say that can help you. I want a 22,000-mile wall.
Me too. Yeah.
That'll work.
I know a good security system. You go ahead and put a wall around your house. That's the best security system ever.
Oh yeah, wait, yeah, you know what? You know what?
Yeah.
Because there may be a
No,
Mexican,
ADT.
there may be an
moved in
illegal
next
Mexican,
door.
next door mowing someone's lawn. And you know what I love? I love the term illegal. What makes a person? The person's not illegal, just because they came here and they were above the quota. That some politician, a politician, conjured up. However they did it, they conjured up this number, and then if you're the one person over that number, you're illegal. How dare they call
Well, that's
anyone
because
illegal?
they haven't become voters yet and become a real person. Because only politicians like people that can vote, so you can manipulate them.
All right, we got to go to hard break.
Oh.
I need some coffee to
We're
calm
just
down. Okay, welcome back to the University of Logic, better known as Cristiano's Conservatory, correcting convoluted conversation. We have Lee on the line. Let's see. Lee on the. Lee, is that you? Oh, nope. We have.
I guess he couldn't hold on.
Oh, he was holding on for so long, he finally gave up the ghost. Is there another one on the line there? No. We lost 2 of our callers. How did
Oh,
that?
they can call back.
They better call back, Lee, okay? I'm sorry we held you on the line. We had to go on this hard break. Unfortunately, folks, when we say we are for some form of limited immigration, with laws and rules and regulations and all this other stuff and quotas, we, in fact, are saying that we would prefer to comply with the dictates of a totalitarian state rather than to live free. I want you to say that to yourself. I would prefer to comply with the dictates of a totalitarian state rather than to live free. Now, if that gets you sick to your stomach, then you know you have a problem. Because your belief systems, your xenophobic position is robbing you of your thought process, and you will never be free. If you're not free in your mind, you can never be free any place, anywhere. And that's the problem that we have today. We have another caller. Let's see. Here we go. Lloyd, how you doing, Lloyd? This is you're on Liberty Talk Radio. Welcome.
Yeah, Joe, I just listening to your rant there, and you getting pretty animated.
Not me, Lloyd. You must have me confused with someone else.
Yeah, maybe. But if you turn the conversation around to likening immigration quotas and such like this to same thing as a protective tariff on goods. You see, a lot of people that are against protective tariffs, which I'm against protective tariffs as well, what you're doing, you're putting a tariff on these people and not going to allow people in because they might undersell their product, which is their labor, to undersell the products that we have here domestically.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, there's why. Yeah, why are we? We have to be consistent. We have to be consistent. We're against tariffs on goods because it makes it more expensive for us to buy them. Tariffs do nothing but start world wars. They start trade wars. And we're okay. We'll get rid of those tariffs. We're, for free trade. But we're for free trade of products, but not free trade of people. Now, to me, that's not only wrong, that's cruel.
It's hypocritical.
Absolutely, Lloyd. It's hypocritical. And the problem we have is that people can't think. They watch television all day. They listen to the mainstream media, and they repeat it. Like the first caller, she was repeating exactly what the mainstream media says, word for word. She didn't make that stuff up. I can guarantee you that. And we have to start thinking. And sometimes when we start thinking, it hurts. It hurts for us to admit to ourselves, without admitting it to anyone else, that the way we were thinking was wrong. And we would rather feel good about ourselves and be wrong. That's why I'm angry. All week I agree with you, but. You have no idea how maddening that became after a while. I was at the dog park 2 days ago. And it's going, oh, you're Liberty Talk Radio? Yeah, and she started talking about it. Everything she said, oh, yeah, but I agree with you, but. She must have said that about a dozen times. I said, I can't take it anymore. I couldn't take it. It's like, I'm not going to kill you, but, I'm going to kill you. Why say that? Lloyd, do you have any words of wisdom for our listeners?
Well, I thought I gave a pretty good word of wisdom. I take all arguments and things, and I try to put them in a different context, kind of twist them around.
Okay.
Like if you describe it as a tariff rather than, preventing people from coming in because they might do that. But also, most of in fact, nearly all of our problems are just simply because we don't, or our government and our laws are not doing what they are through natural law supposed to do, which is to secure life, liberty, and property. If our laws stopped at protecting life, liberty, and property, it wouldn't matter who came in here because they could not violate your life, your liberty, or your property. And the same would go for voting.
That's right.
You wouldn't care who voted. It wouldn't matter if a 2-year-old voted if the laws in place were that nobody could vote anything away from your life, your liberty, or your property.
Perfect.
Yeah, but
perfect.
That's what
Lloyd.
you're voting
That's
on.
Yeah,
these bills
absolutely.
For. These
Lloyd,
bills are restricting
that
life,
isn't my
liberty, and
original
property.
idea.
Yeah.
Frederick Bastiat said that a long time ago.
Yeah.
And if anyone's ever read any of his works, especially The Law, that's one of the best works there is to read.
I haven't read his books, but I've read many of his works. His white papers and whatever. He
wrote a lot of works, but The Law is the one that I just love the most, simply because it's so plain and simple that anybody can understand it if they've got even 2 brain cells to rub together.
Right. Well, the problem is that they don't want to know the truth because they can't handle the truth. You heard that, right? Yeah. And I really feel it's that way, that they really the truth hurts.
Well, the conversation doesn't go to the truth. The conversation's always well, amnesty or, oh, no, they got to be documented. They got to come into the right way. You know, the news and the legal, people put all the conversation in play. No one ever says what you say, Joe. No, they don't. Anyone like you doesn't get a conversation. They doesn't even get to put his idea on the table.
Right.
That's our big problem.
Yeah.
The news media.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you want to say something?
Me now.
No. Yeah, I have a new listener here. She decided to come in and sit in, and I said, sure, you want to say something, you can do that. Lloyd, thank you so much for calling in. I tell you should have your own radio program. You do a fabulous job.
I've got yours, Joe.
Okay, Lloyd, thanks a million. I consider that the ultimate compliment. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye-bye. You know, Lloyd's a brilliant guy. You know, he calls in almost every week, and I really appreciate his remarks because they're poignant, they are direct, they address the subject, and there's none of this la 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 la. You know, people have difficulty with principle. A principle is a principle, period. You don't say a principle sub 2. It's a principle. It's either right or it's wrong. If it's wrong, it's not a principle. I mean, what else could I say? I don't know how else to say it.
You know what I like too, Joe, about Lloyd is he still engages the political process. He still goes over to a Republican thing, just like you're going to go to this week. You know, and you're going to have a speech. What is that anyway?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be at the Tulsa
that.
County Republicans Men's Club, and I think I'm going to talk about immigration. They'll probably get a riot, you know? Probably be an absolute riot.
Well, maybe I should order in those girls.
Yeah, that's we need some dancing girls, you know? You know, why don't we do this right? Why don't we do this right? What we should do is, since we have the war on drugs, right? We have the war on poverty. We have the war on terror, right? And we need a lot of departments. We grow tremendously. We have these people making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
We need more people.
Pushing
We need
paper,
more people
right?
in the
controlling the
government
decimating
to do that.
our Constitution. We got to. My money goes to people who decimate the Constitution. I love that, right? So why don't we have a war on immigration?
A war.
Yeah, a war on immigration. Just add it to it. Fund it, have a department, have an immigration czar, and
it's not even as
have them wear the
elusive
Roman
as-
metal helmet and the whole bit with the sword. Why not go all the way?
We can
why
define it.
Why become a weenie piece of crap that we are? Do it all the way.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's not as elusive as this war against terror. I mean, that it's like, you know, swinging at ghosts. But the war on terror, we could build a wall. We could do all kinds of cool things.
Do you know, for over 50 years, there was absolutely no border between the United States and Mexico. And people came and went, and there was never a problem. They just came and went, they worked, they went home. Now, I'm going to talk about this when we come back from break. You know, a wall works both ways. You know that. Because people come in. Before, when there was no immigration quotas, people came in, they worked, and they went home. Now they come in, they can't leave. So the numbers increase. I mean, you know,
it's like
stupid.
that roach trap.
That's right.
The roach checks in, but
That's
it
right.
doesn't
Can't check out.
out.
Right. Can't check out. Right. So I think we should go to a war on immigration and fund it, have a whole department, the whole bit of cabinet, go all the way. What are you laughing for? I think that makes sense to me.
What are you laughing at?
And you know, each legislative fix begets a new legislative fix, begets a new legislative fix. It never ends. The war on drugs never ends. The war on terror will never end. The war on poverty will never end.
And Dunder Mifflin,
And-
I guess that's the paper company, and they're getting rich because the bills are.
we don't have an official war on immigration, but we do. It'll never end. It'll just cost more money. Let's take our last break. Don't go away, folks.
Hey, we want to take a minute, Joe, to mention our sponsors. These are great people that make this show possible. Ranch Acres Audiology, FreedomGoldGroup.com, Mac Cool Firearms, and Jinx Health and Nutrition. All these folks help
Great
make this
people
possible.
all the way across the line.
All the way across the board.
All the way across the board. You can't go wrong with any one of them. Visit them. And if you do visit with them, please tell them that you've heard of them on Liberty Talk Radio. Many times people walk into these establishments, they say nothing, and then people say, I haven't had anyone come in and listen to your radio station, and they don't ask. They don't ask, and they don't ask, don't tell. That type of thing.
Don't ask, don't
but really
tell
do.
program.
They're wonderful people. You won't be disappointed with any of them whatsoever. I can guarantee you that. There should be absolutely no penalty for complying with natural law. And freedom of movement is an act of natural law. And what our government has done is that it is natural law be damned. We are going to penalize you for exercising your natural rights. I want you to think about that. The government, the totalitarian state, is going to penalize you for exercising your natural rights. Oh, I want that to sink in. Now, with the European Union, it was very interesting. Of course, they took down all the borders because of the European Union. People go in and out of each country. And they thought it was going to be chaos and this and that. How could this work? Not a peep from anyone. In fact, if you go to France, you'll see a little sign that's a piece of concrete, and it has an S on one side, has an F on the other. And the S is for Switzerland, the F is for France. It's in the middle of the street. I mean, it is a side street. People walking in and out and all that. France, Spain, Switzerland, no difference. No panic, no nothing, no nothing. But yet, when it was first done, they go, you can't do this. It'll be panic and, people come. No, in fact, the picture that I saw, there was no one walking on that street at all. So what we are, we're xenophobic, and we think the worst, and the world's going to come to an end, and it won't, folks. It'll just get better.
They have to scare people in order to make laws, I guess.
I love that. They're absolutely correct. They scare the hell out of people. And if we could free up the Border Patrol, we can use that for that money's, for our internal security, true internal security. If we need more policemen, we need more people in the National Guard, for our own home protection.
Yeah, like a bigger NSA computer, maybe.
Yeah, no, I don't mean that, please.
Well, that's what they told us. They told us it was for our security, Joe.
And another point is that people don't realize that we need many more immigrants that we're taking in now to support an aging American population. With Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and disability benefits and veterans benefits, that about covers the big ones, right? We are beyond bankrupt. And if we don't get people coming in here to work, young people who will work, and I know you can say, they come in, they don't pay taxes. They pay taxes. Yes, there's a few people who don't, but for the most part, they pay taxes. And if they don't pay taxes, that means they don't have a Social Security card, they don't have this. And if they have none of that, they're not getting any services, so they're working for nothing. I mean, let's face it, they're getting screwed. But for the most part, they are the ones that are going to be supporting all of the entitlement programs that we have now that are broke. And folks, we still have plenty of time. 855-866-1170. Let me hear from you. 855-866-1170. And, of course, your email anytime to comments@libertytalkradio.com. So we need immigrants. We should be telling Washington, let me put it this way. When President Reagan was at the wall,
Berlin Wall.
Yeah, the Berlin
Wall,
at the gate, right? And he said,
bring this wall down.
Khrushchev, tear down this wall. We should be going to Washington, or we should be standing by that wall that we have now and say, Obama, tear down this wall. That's what we should be doing. Mm-hmm. And they say, well, why Congress must be voting on it for a reason. They must have some reason that we don't know of. Because, of course, they're involved in it. They know all the intricacies. Let me tell you why they vote for it. Why they're voting for more drones. And by the way, there was an ad on radio that were urging people to urge their congressmen to vote for more immigration controls, and it included increased electronic surveillance on our borders, more border security guards, 20,000 by the way, plus more drones.
Less freedom.
They say, please, tell your congressman you want to increase the intensity of the totalitarian state. People go, well, good idea. You know? Now, why do congressmen vote for this stuff? Well, you see, folks, whenever they build a wall and there's surveillance and there are drones, there are large corporations involved in contracts. And these corporations go to the congressman and they go, look, Charlie, if we can build you guys vote for another X number of miles of this wall, we can sell X millions of dollars worth of bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. And of course, it's under the guise of, and we can hire more people. You'll get credit for that. But also, there just seems to be an envelope involved, and that envelope is the thing that finances that Congress's next campaign. And so when he runs, he spends millions of dollars on a campaign, and then an honest bloke, who's trying to run and doesn't have that type of money, doesn't have a snowball chance in hell of winning. So it perpetuates the criminality in our Congress, in our government. Because the only reason why these guys are voting for it is because they're making a phenomenal amount of money on kickbacks, whether it be direct, indirect, meetings or parties or trips or whatever the case may be, But
inside
also
trading, which is legal for them.
What's that?
Inside trading, which is legal.
Absolutely, they do all that. And plus, when there comes time for them to run for re-election, they get hundreds of thousands of dollars from each one of these companies. Now, if you want to limit immigration, you want the wall, you want more drones and all this is what you're voting for. You're voting for the ultimate corruption of our Congress. That's the reality of it. None of this pussyfooting saying, well, he feels strongly about this. This is what you're going for. Listen, Congress is money. The Senate is money. It runs on money. You ever run a congressman has a small district and all this, and they spend millions of dollars running for office? I mean, it's insane.
We do that here with the mayor in Tulsa.
Yeah, the mayor they spent over $1 million. You say, well, how could you? I mean, the guy makes doesn't make a lot of money being a congressman, and yet they spend millions of dollars to get there. Now, folks, these guys are not stupid. They can count. They know X millions of dollars are going out, right, on a campaign. That means X millions of dollars has to come in. And they're not doing it on a stretch. They say, well, maybe we'll get it. No, they get their money in advance. There's no risk at all. And that's what you're voting for. Every time you vote for any legislation by our Congress or by the Senate, that's exactly what you're voting for. And then after that, you're going to be taxed to support it. And then we say, we have to reduce the debt. Well, how can you reduce the debt? You just increased it. What do you think, 20,000 more? And let me tell you something, the 20,000 only going to handle a very, very small portion of that border. Once we get the extra 20,000 and we build a wall another, how many feet? I forgot how many feet they wanted, 100 miles or something like that. Once they do that, understand it's a 2,000-mile border. Once they do that, it's not going to stop. And they're going to say, we didn't go far enough. We should do it right this time, and then they'll argue for the next couple of years and there'll be money exchange and all this. And who's going to pay for this? There's a guy in South Dakota that's paying for a wall on the border of
Texas.
Of Texas. Why is this guy in South Dakota paying that for?
Sounds like a Texas problem to me.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make it doesn't pass the laugh test.
No.
Unless you just repeat what you hear. If you're a zombie, you have no problem with this problem. To you, it makes perfect sense. However, if you think, here we go.
There's the zombie.
That was a zombie.
That was zombie.
That was a zombie music.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the zombie music. We have one more minute. I don't think we don't have any callers, do we?
No, we don't have.
We don't have any callers.
They
That's
enjoy
great.
listening to you.
Yeah. Well, folks, I really want you to consider what is being said. But when you do, consider it on principle and don't say, yes, I agree, but. And don't introduce another thing like, oh, what about the drug problem? That's a drug problem. That's a separate issue. It has nothing to do with immigration. And, if they built the wall, we would still have a drug problem. You think the drug lords are not going to... They bring it in now via homemade submarines. It would get here, believe me. These guys are... They're always ahead of us. They're one step ahead of us. And every time we push them further, it costs us more and more money to patrol and to correct. And we can do that until we go absolutely bankrupt. And then after we are totally bankrupt, then what do we have to do? Who's going to when we're bankrupt, who's going to patrol the borders? No one's going to have the money to do that. Then we're truly going to have open borders. And that's all I have to say about immigration. This is Joe Cristiano, Liberty Talk Radio. Stay well. Stay tuned.